All right, so Matt Big
Board
Board Gregory has been keeping his eye on the early vote totals coming into our newsroom. He's chomping at the bit. He can't wait to get into them.
Yeah, where we're seeing at this particular point, essentially, we've been talking about, I want to go to District 5 first because this is the one that has the potential to the biggest changeover, right? Steny Hoyer, 45 years. Now, who's going to replace him on the Democratic ticket? Well, theoretically, and just looking at it now, it looks like it may bear out this way. The person winning might not even have a majority, meaning 50% or more. Look at this. Right now, at this point, Adrian Boafo is in the lead. Again, early on, only 4% of the precincts reporting with 30% of the total vote, but he's got 32% to Quincy Berebe's 19.9%, so about 12%. But if you keep going down these double-digit totals, Harry Dunn is 14%, Rashern Baker is 10%, and Walla Blagay almost at 10%. So theoretically, whoever wins this could win with a very low, what we would perceive, vote total, but then they will have to roll that into the general election. And where's that looking for the Republican side? You're seeing Michelle Talkington and Chris Chafee. But the way I was kind of looking at this, and I don't know if anyone else is wonking out on this, but I'm very interested in it. You look at the heat, see where their support comes from. Michelle's comes from Prince George's County and portions over here of Charles County, whereas it looks like Chafee's support early on is coming from Anne Arundel, Calvert, and St. Mary's. So it's almost like a dividing line of Southern Maryland right there. Just a little something interesting to talk about. Over to the governor's race, because this is the big one. Wes Moore is obviously going to move on into November. That was really never in question, but who will face him? This is the one where we're starting to see numbers come up, and it looks like Dan Cox again, who faced Moore in 2022, is in the lead by about 6%. And it's hard to know, you heard our experts talking about it, sort of how Ed Hale will play into this, because Ed Hale was a Democrat up until, this election cycle. So will he have support? It looks like the base of his support is coming from areas just right outside of Baltimore, which is fair. He was the CEO of First Mariner Bank for years. So you see his support there, whereas Cox's support is coming from your furthest west portions of the state and the east portions of the state, the Eastern Shore. So that's actually a pretty accurate breakdown of just how Trump has won as well across the state, which is you'll see high Trump support in the western portion of the state and over here in sort of the Eastern Shore area in terms of him. So, Cox being that, like I said, cipher for Trump, that's what you're seeing when you look at that. How is the Trone McLean-Delaney race going? Numbers are still preliminary and early. Like at this point, we only have about 16,000 votes in, and I want to show you how many we need to get to normal. We need to get to about 56,000. So that's about where we're at in terms of being able to call this race. It's just too close and too early. But, right now you're seeing McLean-Delaney with 44%, about almost a 4 to 5% lead over David Trone. But that's only 800 votes or so. And that could be made up. We don't know how soon or how long that will take. The challenger in that, again, this is a district where if I like pulling up these totals just to give you an idea of what this could mean. It's about 49,000 was in the last race here. We're voting the Republican primary. So you saw 56, 49, give or take, that's actually about 6,000 vote differentials between the Democrats and the Republicans. So theoretically, right, the Republican who wins this race would have a pretty good shot against an April McLean-Delaney or a David Trone. And so far in this race, looks like Robin Ficker and Chris Burnett are kind of neck and neck, separated by 57 votes. Ficker being kind of a perennial contender, running for many different offices across the state of Maryland and across this area in District 6 several times now. He once was kind of pushing to be running for governor against Hogan during that sort of era just before, I want to say it was 2018 or so. But yeah, so it's just fascinating to take a look at that. When we go over to 8, obviously Raskin is one here, and it looks like Glenn Ivey is also headed back to November as the representative for the Democrats in Congressional District 4. So that's what we're seeing so far. I'm sorry if that was a lot, and we'll keep kind of coming back to as the numbers come in. But, your big takeaways, small lead for Dan Cox right now in District 5. Who's going to replace Steny Hoyer? Boafo, early, slight lead. And then when we come over here to the Trone McLean-Delaney race, another tight race with McLean-Delaney, the incumbent, sort of having the early lead. But we'll have to stay on top of it. It's a horse race at this point, and we'll get a better idea, I'm sure, as we get closer to about 9:30 or so of how these races are shaking out. Guys? Okay.